I have this weird thing genetically. I don't metabolize caffeine, so I don't
feel it.
I don't get any rush from it. And so for the longest time, I've had zero desire to drink anything caffeinated, which I guess, I'm supposed to be pretty healthy, but it doesn't have any impact on me, so I didn't notice one way or another. I just think it was weird when people were drinking coffee because I'm like, this shit tastes terrible and it doesn't do anything for me. Like, what the fuck?
I don't get it.
I don't understand.
She spends so much money on Starbucks. I'm like,
Oh, you
how?
save so much money.
Yeah, Starbucks, Dutch Bros. I'm just like, just stop drinking coffee. It's gross.
Yeah.
She never finishes. She only drinks like the top half. But I'm complaining about my wife. Let's hear it.
We started this show
Spencer and Anthony.
It's crazy how loyal
guys were
is
thirsty for some
one of the
real-
encouraging men to be the best version. Ask us anything.
Welcome to the Beardsmen.
That is a good question.
You got 14 hours, let's say, a little bit burnt out, unmotivated.
Week, not their birthday.
I gotta extend it.
Welcome to the Beardsmen, the show where we talk, mock, and never walk away from the conversation. I'm here with the Beardsmen, Spencer and Anthony, a.k.a. Spencer and Anthony. We did a lot of AKAs last week.
You went down the rabbit hole on the AKAs last week. So we'll hold on that. I'm just Spence today.
Yeah. My name is Mink. As JR said, we're the crazy co-founders here at Live Bearded, also referred to as the Beardsmen from time to time, although I think that might be self-appointed. We were trying to think of a good name for the podcast. JR came up with the Beardsmen, and we rolled with it.
Here we are.
But we started the show because we love connecting with our community. We've ran Live Bearded for 7 years, and our favorite part of doing it is guys that come into the office when we're out and about meeting people, shaking hands, and talking about the experience of being a man in the world today. So we started this show to bring the internal conversation we have every day to you guys.
Yeah, guys, we are excited. And one of the things here at Live Bearded we love to do is we love to inspire and encourage men to do better every single day. So the premise of this podcast is to do exactly that. And the format is pretty straightforward, right? It's an Ask Us Anything. So if you're tuning in and you have questions about Live Bearded, about health and wellness, about literally anything and everything, mindset stuff, physical fitness stuff, we are here to answer your questions. And if they have questions, JR, how do they get them to us?
You can submit your questions by emailing us at ask@livebearded.com or put them in the comments below.
That's right.
Straightforward.
How
you guys
Keep
doing?
it easy. Good, man.
Good.
Doing good.
JR,
Doing good.
what's new in your life, bro?
I'm cleansing this week to get ready
Ooh.
for kickball. So that
Atta
is...
boy.
Blah.
What does a cleanse
Oh,
have
it's just
in store
water.
for you?
I just drink water for like
nothing else but water?
Yeah, like 30 hours or something like that. Just
so
do
you're
water.
fasting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like it's an actual cleanse. Like if you look it up, the fastest way to cleanse your body is to just drink water.
Splash water. Are you doing lemon or anything in the water? Or
No, it's just water.
For 30 hours.
just water.
Yeah, just 30 hours.
Just 30.
I'm impressed.
How
bro.
often
Just tell your body, fuck off. This is what I'm doing.
Have you done this before? Is this
Yeah.
something you've done?
Yeah, I do this like whenever I have to like go onto set and like get
Yeah.
into acting mode. Like I'll do this for like a week to a week and a half prior to my shoot day.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right. And then my body feels good. I'm like, all right, good. I can be crazy.
That's
awesome.
great.
Yeah,
You're
I-
taking this kickball thing very seriously if you're actually doing a cleanse.
I just want to be able to move around pretty
Yeah.
easily.
For those of you guys listening, so one of the things we started this year, the first annual Kickball Classic, we love doing rituals here at Live Bearded. I grew up playing sports, and so I like the idea of a game day routine or a game day ritual, and we try to instill some of that stuff in here at Live Bearded. And one of the things that we came up with this year is a Kickball Classic to really kick off the holiday season. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as a business, it's a crazy time of the year. Definitely our busiest few days
For sure.
of the entire year. So to have some fun before we get into the craziness of it, we devised this plan to have a Kickball Classic with all the proceeds going to charity. So it's Team Spence against Team Mink, and we did a mock draft, divided the team in, or the Live Bearded team
Into
two teams.
Yeah, it was very legitimate. You can look at it on social media.
Yeah.
We got a little highlight video and announcement
Yeah.
thing for it.
And
But
the fun thing is going to be witnessing, because kickball, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't played kickball since I was a little kid. And so
Yeah.
it's going to require a little bit of athleticism, a little bit of strategy, but it'll be fun to see everyone out there.
But it's
having a
also
good
like
time.
baseball. And as we all know, baseball is like the least physical exerting sport, in my
Hey,
opinion.
I don't know, man. We've already had at least one injury, and we've only had one practice. So
Yeah, we're very competitive here at Live Bearded. It's
Which
like
injury? Like
Pete on the
Oh, it's
tryouts.
Pete. Yeah,
Pete
Pete
pulled
on
his
tryout.
groin on the tryouts, the first kick.
Yeah.
A little aggressive, wasn't really
well, he
warmed
shouldn't
up.
have come out of retirement. That's what you get when
when you're old.
Hey,
And,
easy.
But we're getting ready for this big kickball game on Friday. We're recording
Yeah.
on a
Oh, it's
Tuesday.
on Friday.
So we're T-minus 4 days. And
And Jared's fasting in preparation.
yeah, he's fasting
Cleansing.
in preparation.
I love it.
We got jerseys, we got bandanas, we got trophies.
Yeah, speaking of, when are we getting the jerseys? Are persons here? Are the jerseys coming in soon?
This week, the jerseys are
Well, I
gonna
would
be
hope
official.
they would come in this week.
They
I mean,
better
the
be
game's
here
on
this
Friday,
week.
so.
Because I really wanted to make a funny video with them and post. That's why I'm asking.
How did you guys come up with your name? Because you guys are the
We're the Wrecking
Wrecking
Balls.
Balls.
Wrecking Balls, because we're going to wreck some balls out there on Friday. No, it was a team effort. We threw a bunch of kind of some brain share, and that one just seemed to be the favorite. Yeah, just kind of came together.
nice.
We had a lot of other good options,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I played in an adult softball league,
yeah,
and the names that people come up
Oh.
with are
just
unbelievable.
creative.
Yeah. I couldn't. I mean, and they were all like very punny and like
Yeah.
sexual innuendos. And, but yeah, it's fun to come up with some names like that. So
And you guys are the Commandos?
we're the Commandos.
Okay, well,
Yep.
where's the inspiration?
Yeah. Well, because Commandos are badass and they destroy their opponent whenever they face them. So we're going to destroy our opponents.
There we go.
Yep.
So are the
We'll see on
great
Friday.
white sharks
Yeah.
or crocodile. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just throwing.
I think sharks are pretty undefeated in the ways of the water. So, and the Commandos are pretty undefeated in the ways of battle. So you better watch the fuck out.
Yeah. Well,
So tune in on Friday.
battle
We'll be sharing.
is
Check us out on all the socials.
you know what I'm surprised about kickball is that there were a lot of weird rules about it that I didn't know.
I had no idea.
Like throwing the ball at someone, you can't headshot them.
Or hit
you
him in the
can't
legs.
hit-
You can't
I think
headshot or hit him in
that's
the legs.
bullshit.
You gotta hit him in the
I'm going for the
torso.
groin every time. Watch out.
If you try to dodge and block the ball with that part of your body, you're out.
So
Yeah.
if you are a professional adult kickball player, drop us a comment. Let us know the number one strategy we should abide by.
Or if you have kids and they rule the schoolyard, they might know the rules better than we do. So send all the help our way. We
Yeah.
need it.
It'll be a good time. If you're in Tempe, come check it out Friday.
Yeah, the entry is a toy. We're basically doing a toy drive for big brothers, big sisters. That's the whole reason why it came together. So we're doing it for fun so we can talk a lot of shit to each other. But the actual reason why we're doing it is to get some toys for the holidays for kids. And all the toys are going to go to Big Brother, Big Sister in Phoenix. So we love that organization and want to support them the best we can.
Excited for the new tradition.
Yeah.
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 So Spence, you just got back from a little trip.
Yeah.
You'd celebrated your 1 year
Dude, 1 year.
anniversary.
1 year anniversary, arguably the fastest year of my life. We accomplished a lot. We got married, got a baby coming, house remodel, everything within the business. I mean, it's been
Is
a
the
busy
nursery
year.
done?
The nursery is like 90%. I'm shocked that we got the nursery done. We're like, there's no way we're gonna get to it, and it was fortunately just a couple things, so we got that taken care of.
Done.
But yeah, had a nice little weekend getaway in Joshua Tree, California. I didn't realize it was like a 4.5 hour drive. I thought it was, for some reason, I was like, it's like 2 hours away. But we drove out and did a couple small light hikes. Dude, Rufus almost got snagged by some coyotes, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys know how coyotes operate when they go like attack dogs.
Is it like a wolf pack mentality?
Yeah, so it's
kind of
pack,
thing?
right? And they send one little friendly guy in to act like a dog, and they'll come in with their tail wagging, whatever, and like roll around and be friendly, get the dog to think it's another dog, and then have him lure him out, and they pounce and attack. They'll be like the whole pack waiting on the other side. So I look over, I literally just told Amanda the story about how coyotes, we saw them the day before. She's like, that really how it happens? I was like, sorry, that's how it happens. So we walk out the next morning, I look over and there's a coyote like 5 feet away from Rufus, and he's just like playing around. I was like, this motherfucker. So I shoot him off and I like ran over, and literally right on the other side of the wash, there was like 8 coyotes, big motherfuckers just waiting. So I was like, oh shit, that would have been a really bad way to.
That's like
to
some
finish-
Jurassic Park
finish the
Velociraptor
trip.
shit.
It really is, yeah. So one, they're not really that threatening to dogs, right? But with the pack, obviously strength in numbers, and what we avoided it.
I,
so.
I didn't know that. B, that's very surprising.
Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty cool though.
Smart dogs.
But Joshua Tree is great. Much prettier national park than I was giving it credit for. So a couple light hikes, some restful days, and some good
Joshua
quality
trees,
time.
those are the things that look like the yucca cactuses,
yeah,
right?
Like super
but it's just
prehistoric
like,
looking. Yeah,
yeah.
this is cool. Boulders, pretty chill, low key.
You guys want to get into some questions?
Let's get into some questions.
yeah,
We got some good ones for us, JR.
always.
Let's go.
These questions are focused more on you guys because we want to open up a little bit more that way. First one comes from Jim. Is there a smell, image, sound that triggers nostalgia for you guys? We're coming up on the holiday season.
Ooh, nostalgia.
That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, yes, but I don't know if I can think of one off the top of my
The
head.
olfactory fragrance is wild, right? You can
Yeah.
smell something and literally transport you back to like decades prior.
Yeah.
So it's super powerful in terms of sensory. I don't know that I have one specifically, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a smelly, like smell, sound, image, just something you see that's like,
nostalgia.
I mean,
takes me right back.
This one's kind of gross, but when I got really drunk on vanilla vodka when I was in college, and I can't stand the smell of it, or it'll take me back to that moment. It's like the grossest thing. I want to vomit if I smell vanilla, and kind of not vanilla anything, but definitely vanilla vodka. And I was clearly like 20 years old and was drinking vanilla vodka. So
Nostalgia.
maybe I deserved that one. I don't know if I have a specific nostalgic fragrance.
For me, monkey bread. I don't know what the real baking term is, but monkey bread is where you take like those Pillsbury dough rolls and roll them in like cinnamon sugar and stuff. Yeah. And then you put it in like a Bund can or something like that and bake it. And yeah, every time I see that or smell that, like that takes me back to like 5 and 6 years old, just growing up. That was what we always made around Christmas.
Well, you spurred a random memory of mine based on that. Growing up, I was the only one in my family that liked pumpkin pie. And so my mom would never make it. But then she bought me the ingredients one year, and she's like, if you want to have pumpkin pie, I'll teach you how to make it. And so then I just made these, like, put all the ingredients together. We had one of those KitchenAids, whatever. It's like maybe the only thing that I ever really learned how to cook. And I couldn't do it anymore because, I mean, I haven't done it in years. But growing up,
I have to bring it back this year.
Like the only person that would eat pumpkin pie in my house was me. So my mom would get all the ingredients. I would make my pumpkin pies. I would make 2 of them, and then I would have 2 full pumpkin pies for like a week. And I would just smother them in whipped cream and eat the shit out of some pumpkin pie.
Dude, that's great. And
So
no one else
now-
would eat them.
No one else would eat them. Yeah.
Score.
So now during the holidays, I definitely have a nostalgia with pumpkin pie. It reminds me of just like growing up and being able to have my own dessert. And yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind.
So are you going to make pumpkin pies for us here at Live Bearded then?
I think we need to bring it back.
You know
Test
what?
His,
I think you
his
should
pumpkin
try.
pie skills.
I think that I will maybe buy one and
That or we'll
put it in a homemade
will-
dish.
I think
I
I
will show
will
up here one way or the other.
maybe buy one and claim it as my own.
Yeah.
What's
We
this
used to-
Costco dish?
You know what's on the subject of sweets? Growing up, like we just ate the shittiest stuff. I remember we used to go to the
Just as kids,
yeah,
like in general,
as kids,
yeah.
Like and
Yeah.
shitty stuff. I mean, like bad dessert food.
Yeah.
Like my mom would go to the Wonder Bread store, and I'd get like ho-hos and ding dongs and
Oh,
frozen
yeah.
pies, like frozen apple
moon
pie and
pies.
strawberry pie,
Honey
and,
buns.
oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh! I remember my dad and I would go
Nutter
hunting,
bars.
and he would just throw like, chips
stuff.
and he would make like bologna sandwiches
Oh, yeah.
or like egg salad sandwiches, just like the worst stuff. But you're out in the mountains hunting for
Just need some
all
calories.
day or camping for a few days, and you just like eat chips, and then you have a frozen apple pie that's like half thawed out in the cooler, and then you open up the box of Twinkies and you have
Oh, yeah.
Twink. Like I ate all of the worst shit growing up, and I loved it.
Yeah, but kids can do that with and
Yeah,
like,
iron
they just
stomach.
bounce
Yeah,
back.
just bounce right back. Now
Yeah.
you imagine trying to eat that shit now. I need a nap.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I need
So-
to get rid of it.
it's good. It's like I can handle like 4 or 5 bites. I'm like, oh man, I'm done,
Yeah.
and it sucks.
This is a totally random one. So if you guys have been listening, you know I love to travel. Like it's one of my favorite things in the world to do.
Do you? I
And
haven't heard.
one of the first places, the first place I ever moved to was Costa Rica. And I stayed at a friend's guest house he had like this amazing beachfront property, and they had a guest house in the back by the beach. And there was nights where it was just so silent, but there's like white noise from like just the bugs and the water in the background. But you never heard, there was no sounds except for just kind of the white noise of nature.
No howler monkeys.
I mean, sometimes, but in general, what I remember is if I'm ever in a place where there's just no noise, but there's like a subtle white noise of nature.
Yeah.
It's like it takes me
Takes you
back
back.
to being in Costa Rica. It's like that nostalgia with silence and like nature's white noise,
Yeah.
which is very interesting because I fell in love with the idea of just sitting on the back patio at night and like looking at the stars and hearing the distant sound of the ocean and just kind of like the jungly like white noise that would take place. And I didn't realize that was the case until like a few years later. I rented another place in somewhere else. I was traveling and I was
Took you
sitting
back there.
outside and it was like that white noise with like the soft, subtle sounds. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly like Costa Rica. And it just made this like nostalgic moment for me.
Did you sleep better?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
When I'm out in nature and I don't hear like anything, even like nature sounds or something like that, it freaks me out.
The quietness, the stillness.
Yeah, like
Oh, it's
quite
the
like
best.
I need some sort of bird noise happening in the background or someone yelling. It's
like-
scary to me.
I like the stillness. I think I have this love. I mean, I love camping, getting outside. Right. To me, I sleep better. It's like it's ironic because you're on this shitty little mat, and so it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. But the stillness of being out in nature and just having that like the disconnect feeling from the quietness is I'll sleep better than ever. Yeah. So I can relate to that for sure.
Nice.
Our next question is from Eddie. What's something you've drawn inspiration from recently?
What do you got, JR? What's something
What's something I've drawn inspiration from?
Yeah.
So I've been editing, shameless plug for Uranus Attacks right now, coming soon. But I've been drawing inspiration about editing and fixing things with that. And I go back to Family Guy all the time because I think Seth MacFarlane just knows how to hit the comedy just right. So I watch his cuts that he does with like Ted. Ted specifically, the movie with the puppet, but then if I need to get goofy, I'll like just watch some of his episodes for inspiration. But there's so many things that are just goofy and outlandish. So most recently, I've watched Ted again for inspiration about editing.
Nice.
When you're watching it, are you watching it straight through and pulling? Or are you like breaking it down in segments and trying to digest it? How do you learn? When
Now
you're
I
kind of
break
consumed?
down
Yeah.
and I watch the segments from it. But like it's like 10-minute chunk blocks because they'll do a scene and just like the art of taking the viewer from one place to another. There's a lot of different edits that you have to do. Like you have to have the establishing shot and then the angles that you set people up with. But just the way that you edit, whether you let someone else say their line while it's focused on someone else, or you show the camera on them and then you cut to their other person's reaction. There's a lot of intricate things in there. And when you're editing for comedy, there's a specific way to do it. And a lot of it's trial and error. But if you watch other people who have done comedy before, then it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to totally steal that because they stole it from someone else, most likely.
What about you, Spence?
Yeah, the first thing that came to mind is been wrapping my head around the whole content game the last little bit. Here at Live Bearded, we're trying to restructure how we do content. This podcast is one of the ways we're doing that. And so I think, success leaves clues, digesting, learning from somebody else who's doing it. So I've been going down the rabbit hole of different content creators, whether it's personal brands to big brands. There's no one way to do content, right? And so trying to really digest what is best for our brand and how we can really just add value to our customers' lives. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's what we're really trying to do is engage and add value. And so there's some brands, like I love what Black Rifle has been doing with their content and their creative, but there's a lot of others out there that are creating really just phenomenal content. So trying to just go down the rabbit hole and follow these guys and see what's working and then make our unique twist. Because when I look at how we're creating content and all the scripts we're writing, all the things we're doing, it's like I want Live Bearded to be uniquely us and not just a copy and paste of what else is out there. But there's so much inspiration you can pull from what's being done out there. So similar to kind of what you're saying as far as breaking things down. And
So would you want it to be like Black Rifle? Because, I mean, I love Black Rifle, the
they're
videos
fantastic.
that they make.
Yeah, no, they are uniquely them. And I think part of the reason why they've been so successful is they were just 100% unapologetically authentic to who they are. And they've been able to really rally behind that. So learning from them wouldn't be like modeling their specific content, but how can we find that for Live Bearded and be 100% authentically us as founders, as our team, and find segments and kind of series to kind of represent that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Objectively, we live in a creator-driven economy at this point, right? I saw a survey recently that said most of the 18 to 40-year-olds in our country prefer to buy from a brand that is led by a creator or founders, or they know the principles and values of the company. One of the things that's very interesting is I feel like there's some businesses that they build all of their focus around solving an individual problem. And then there's others that focus on an authentic personality or persona. And the one thing that nobody can compete with you in the sense of like authenticity has no competition because there's only one version of you or me or the Live Bearded or whatever. So it's very interesting, I think, trying to figure out either A, what problem do you want to solve for people, or how can you just really lean into authenticity? Obviously, Black Rifle's done that really well.
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned, Ted, and it's like they've learned from previous people. It's not like their strategy, their techniques are like this. They're the only ones doing that style, right?
Yeah.
Like there's
filming comedy is a long history, but it all can be traced back to Buster Keaton and the way that he filmed things. The silent film era and stuff. Like comedy does a lot of things in like wide, big shots, and it all happens in kind of like one motion kind of deal. So you take his camera up and he'd set up the angle just right. He's like, okay, I'm going to jump from this building, grab this post, and this post is going to drop me down across 2 other buildings. I'm going to hit this awning, and then I'm going to fall 3 stories down through like several awnings. But he sets the camera up to capture everything all at once. Yeah. And doing that with comedy, everyone draws inspiration from that. That's what I was getting at. Sorry, that was a long way to say it.
But it's so true. You can apply that to all different areas, right? It's like there's like the source, and then there's different variations of the source. And a lot of people are saying the same thing, but it's received differently if you say it versus a similar message from somebody different, right? You're going to resonate with who you are, the values you stand for, and kind of your delivery, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Yeah, this is interesting. I don't say this often, but I feel like I've just kind of gone through a period of a lack of inspiration. I'm usually reading a ton of stuff, listening to a ton of stuff. And candidly, about 45 days ago, I just didn't want to fucking pick up another book or listen to anything else. And I really haven't listened or read or studied anything for about 45 days, which is very, very
Are you okay?
Unlike me. And at first it was like, where's my motivation? What's wrong with me? And then I was like trying to force it a little bit. And I think we all, if we observe or reflect on our own behaviors over time, we know that we have certain patterns. And one of my patterns is over time, I just get to this place of like, what the fuck am I actually doing with my life? and oftentimes there's this quote that I love. It says, we question all of our beliefs except for the things that we truly believe. Those we never question. And I think those are the ones that we need to question the most because we have the most cognitive bias towards them. And so I've just kind of got into this pattern over my life of ever so often, there's like no specific time frame. Sometimes it's 6 months, a year, 18 months, whatever it is, where I just kind of lack a little bit of luster, if you will. I'm just not super inspired. And it's kind of a signal for me to step back and be like, okay, what the fuck am I doing? And why am I doing this? And why am I doing this and this and this? And I almost run my entire life through the question of why. And I almost have to get reattached or reassociated to what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And so truthfully, there hasn't been really anything that has inspired me externally. It's more been recently me stepping back from my day to day. I think the reason why this happened is when I got back from my trip in Spain, I was coming into the office every day at 5 a.m. and fucking running harder with work and solving problems and trying to kind of get through some of the challenges we were having at the business. I was putting out more energy or effort than maybe I ever have in my life for probably a 75 to 90 day period in time. And on the back end of that, I literally just got so burnt out that I was like, I have to take a step back and reassess and find that next layer of inspiration, if you will. And I'm right in the middle of that right now. I actually started a brand new training program last night that's got me really, really excited. It's very relevant to some stuff that I'm working through personally. And so for me, typically inspiration always comes from learning something new that I think I can apply in my life and move forward, or a new perspective that helps me kind of reframe why I'm doing something. So I was listening to you guys talk because I was like, I don't fucking think anything's been inspiring me recently. And maybe the answer is just getting clear, like re-clarifying what I want to accomplish personally and professionally, and then validating, okay, yeah, like all the goals, all the things, the journey that I said that I want to go on. Yeah, I still love it. I just got a little tired. I just need to give myself a little bit of that grace to take a bit of a break and then dive right back into it. But I kind of live my life with this. I want to have a marathon mindset with a sprinter's execution. So I want to fucking sprint every day.
So you want the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I want to be able to run the marathon, but I want to do it as fast as if I was sprinting it the whole time.
Yeah. So I'm kind of a weird kid like that. I just have very high expectations for myself, and sometimes I burn myself out. So the way that I've found inspiration recently is actually by giving myself permission to take a step back, to downshift a little bit. I fucking slept in a couple days last week. I was like, just trying to break my pattern. Actually, this weekend, I was like, okay, I know I need to go get some stuff done. And usually I go to one particular coffee shop every weekend. And I went there and they were like, oh, it's reserved, blah, blah, blah. Then I went to this other coffee shop and it was too busy. And I ended up driving all the way up to our old office in North Scottsdale and going to some random coffee shop that I've really never been to before. Because what I realized is I've been in such the same pattern for so long, just every day, same exact thing on repeat, that it really, I lost like that sense of purpose in that. So over the last few days, even the last week, I've totally changed my routine up by giving myself flexibility to try new things. And I think sometimes it's that flexibility to do things in a different way where you get that spark of inspiration again. And so just going to a new environment this weekend, working, I did great work over the weekend in this new spot. And so for me, it's been giving myself permission to chill a little bit, to maybe not be so rigid with myself, and then to try to find some new uniqueness in my routine, going a new place, trying a new restaurant, just doing different things to bring back, oh, like, yeah, I'm like living my life. This is cool. This is fun, to get some, just some diversity or some new experiences.
Yeah. I change up my environment too when I need to find inspiration and things. Because there's nothing less inspiring than looking at an empty screen of a computer and like, what is the first line of this script?
Yeah. When I went long-winded on that, because I think all of us at times get a little bit burnt out, unmotivated. We feel like we've lost that inspiration or that excitement towards things. And for me, I think whenever I get there, what I do is I take a step back, just kind of question some of the assumptions that I'm making. Is this still true? Is this still true? Do I still want to do this? And then I just give myself the space to have a little time to kind of recharge. And then ultimately, I try to do things that I haven't done in a while, things that I love to do. Go play basketball, try something else, go to a restaurant I've been wanting to do, just simple things that I can do in my everyday life. I got the motorcycle out this weekend, went for a cruise, like just try to do things to break the pattern that I was in to hopefully be able to start a new pattern that I feel more excited about.
Love that. Makes total sense.
This next question's from Eli. What's something that you want to get better at?
It's good. Right now, I want to get better at, it's funny, I told Regina this weekend, I was like, I need to find a memory coach and a speaking coach because I want to be able to have I think I have a pretty good memory as it is, but I want to just, if I see something, if I learn it, I want to be able to own it, if that makes sense.
Really anchor it in. And
really understand it, really comprehend it. And so a memory coach, and then now that we're creating a lot more content, doing podcasts, things like that, I watched one of my episodes back, and I don't know where it came from, but I got in the fucking death spiral of saying and it was like. And oh my God, it made my skin crawl. And the people that I admire the most that I think are some of the best communicators, they're so clear and precise with their thoughts. They don't have a lot of ums and ahs and blah, blah, blah. They're just very well spoken and can articulate and connect dots and make points. And so I just messaged her this over the weekend. We were having a little fireside chat, and I was like, I need a memory coach, and I want a speaking coach so I can just get really, really good at those things. And it really just comes down to communication. So I'm really practicing the art of communication in my life right now. I want to get better at it.
All right. That's good. I wish I was taller. I wish I was a baller. I'm trying to get better at just like working out more consistently with it. I got the weight bench in my garage and it's there. But, oh man, what was it? Something knocked me out of practice like 3 weeks ago or something. I just haven't got back into the routine. So frequently when I start working out, I'll do good for a little bit, and then one thing changes in the pattern, and then it knocks me off for forever.
It's hard for you to get it back once you've been knocked off.
Yeah, it sucks.
Once you take that initial first step to get it back, can you sustain it and keep it going?
Yeah, I'm pretty good about that. Like after the third time, I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
can I ask you a question?
No.
Do you
Spencer?
do you identify as someone who works out, or is it just something that you do when you have time?
I don't think the second one, but I'm definitely not the first one.
Yeah, okay.
I don't identify myself as someone who works out.
It's a really good point.
Yeah, I think that's where, and for anybody out there who struggles with any pattern development or following through with certain things, I think fitness is a great one. For me, I made a decision several years ago that I live a healthy, active lifestyle, that I'm an athlete. And so I actually intentionally redefined who Anthony is as the type of person that always works out, that always eats healthy, that always does these things, because that supported the long-term kind of like experiences I wanted to have. And I went from kind of a routine of, oh, I'll work out when I can or when I'm not super important to me here and there. Maybe I'll go, like, just, to your point of like when it's convenient, to almost never ever missing a day when I say I'm going to do it, simply by changing the way that I identify. And I think our identity drives us more than hopes, desires, values, rituals, routines. We will always stay consistent with how we identify ourselves. That's why you see crazy things between families. Like one family, they're like, oh, family is the most important thing to me. That's my number one value. But someone over here identifies as one political party. This other person over here identifies as another political party. They both say, I love my family, but they also give them the middle finger during the holidays because of the way that they identify. So if you ever see a mismatch in the way that someone says they want to be versus how they actually be, it is they say one thing might be a value of mine is to be healthy, but you don't identify as a healthy, active person, and therefore you don't actually follow through because your identity is stronger than your value. So I would play with re-identifying how we show up, and I think that's one of the like super hacks to change your behavior.
I think it's spot on. When I can help but think of vegans, and not to pick on vegans, but vegans
let's pick
identify
on vegans
as vegans versus like, I don't eat meat, right?
Yeah.
They identify themselves, and so they're way more in terms of polarity of attacking the other side. Like it creates division because they're identifying as a...
Or now there's this whole carnivore movement, and people are like, I'm fucking carnivore.
Yeah. Becomes your identity, and you're more passionate. There's a harder line in the sand, if you will. Yeah.
It's true with anything. It's someone who identifies as a singer, someone who's a poet, someone who's a comedian. Right? Things come easier to us when we identify that and say, that's who I am. I'm this type of person, and therefore your desire. There's this thing in psychology called commitment and consistency, and so part of our psyche has to stay consistent with the commitments that we make, and the strongest commitment we make is the commitment of who we are. And so integrating any desire, whether it's parenthood, fatherhood, relationships, etc., that's the easiest. And it's not easy, but that is the most congruent, or it's just the best way to change a behavior is to identify with or to identify against, right? Like if you're a smoker and you want to stop smoking, and this is actually, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of alcoholism, because I grew up with a very abusive alcoholic father, but he would never identify as an alcoholic. So therefore he never saw that there was an issue with him drinking a fucking fifth of whiskey every night, So it's like he didn't identify that way, so it didn't become part of his identity. But then, people who identify that way are always battling against it versus changing. Oh, I'm just not that type of person anymore. So I'm not the type of I've never drank because I don't identify as someone that wants to drink or has any desire because of my father. So that's in my identity. So I have zero desire to do it. So that's a long-winded way of
yeah. So I should wake up in the morning and identify as like Terry Crews or something. Then after I finish my workout, I'll go identify as Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen. And then on my drive here, I'll identify as, I don't know, Enzo
Tom Petty.
Ferrari, Tom Petty. The
Isn't
music?
he a NASCAR driver?
Oh, is he? I thought Tom
The
Petty,
singer?
the singer?
Oh,
That's
singer.
who I know Tom
Who's
Petty
the
as.
NASCAR driver?
I don't know.
There's a lot
That's
of
why.
them.
Oh, Jeff Gordon. Wait, is he
Jeff-
alive? Or is
Richard
he
Petty? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. All right, I got mixed up.
Richard
I'm not-
Petty?
I don't know.
Dick
I'm not
Petty?
a NASCAR guy. Dick Petty. Dick Petty.
Okay.
But
Yeah, so that's
yes, you're embellishing a little bit.
I
but
am.
You get,
I
you
am.
get my
I'm
point.
taking
But I think it
your good
applies.
advice, and I'm making a giant joke out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Because I would
Well,
rather.
today you can
deflect.
identify as whatever you want, and you're good to go.
Totally normal.
I'm a 50-year-old black woman. Everyone, watch out. I'm gonna get sassy.
That's not
here.
what I mean when I say your identity. I think you guys get what I'm putting down, but we can have a little fun with it
Yeah.
because some days you just want to identify as a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, wouldn't
Totally
that make
normal.
life easier? Just. Yeah.
I guess.
Did
I
everyone
guess.
answer the
No,
question?
I guess I can answer the question. Yeah, something I'm trying to learn. What was the question? Something we're trying to learn.
Yeah, like something you're.
Yeah, something I'm actively learning right now. That's kind of applies is like just time efficiency, right? And we talked about this on a previous episode about like balancing the scale and like not needing equal input of time for the output that you desire in your business, in your relationship, in your health and wellness, etc. But with a baby boy coming, like I am probably the only thing that I'm nervous about. Not about being a father, not about being a great husband, not about being there, but like balancing time and being as ruthless and intentional with the time that I'm spending. And so I'm doing like a full audit of how I'm spending my day and trying to like work it backwards to make sure that I'm getting unequal displacement into the areas that I want, but enough like intention into those areas, right? And so trying to just be like a master of planning and mapping out how I'm operating daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. I think I mentioned Jesse Itzler before. I follow some of his content, and he has this big ass calendar where he maps out his entire year. So he already has 2024.
Wait, who is this?
Jesse Itzler.
Oh.
He wrote a really entertaining book, Living with the Seal. He's like a 90s white rapper, and then started a jet company with no jet experience, and then he ended up marrying the founder of Spanx, owns sports teams, like pretty badass dude. But he has this thing where he maps out his entire calendar for the next year. And so he has his entire 2024 literally to the day of all the things he wants to accomplish, so that because life gets busy and shit happens, then if you don't plan this trip with your family, you don't do these certain things, like life will just kind of get busy and kind of sweep you away. And so I've been really trying to learn and study how to just maximize my time so that I can make sure to show up for the business and play 110% and play all out, but also be that way for my wife, for my relationship there, for my kid coming and all those things, knowing that there's just a lot of shit to do. But I do believe you can do it all with the amount of output and the, having energy to put into those things. You just have to be extra intentional with every fucking little block of time that you have. So that's something I'm trying to really dissect and learn how to master, or at least improve.
Yeah.
Kind of how I operate.
And if you don't have time to do it all, there's always drugs.
Please don't
do drugs.
What's your drug of choice, JR?
My drug of choice?
Yeah.
Monsters.
Monsters.
The zero sugar monsters. Oh, so great. He had 7 of them before this morning. No. I don't think my heart's beating anymore. It's just, it's just yelling imperceptible.
How many of those do you
beats.
drink in a day?
No, I never drink more than 2 a day.
Dude, JD used to drink. We used to have this guy that worked here for a little while, and I've known him since college. He would drink like 3 bangs a day.
Bang!
Bang! One more.
Bang!
There's the third.
Dang. What?
3 days, that's 900 milligrams of caffeine a day. That's fucking unhealthy.
Oh.
So 2 Monsters is still not the best, but it's,
It's not
better
the
than
best.
3 bangs.
Yesterday, I felt it really bad because, like I said, I was cleansing
Just me.
out of it, and I had a really bad headache. I was just like, "Oh fuck!"
No
I had way too
caffeine
many
during your cleanse, just water only.
No, just water only. Just drink all the water. If you're hungry, just drink more water.
Yeah.
If you get the stomach pain, just drink more water. Just
Flush it all out.
everything out. And yeah, yesterday was not a fun day.
I think caffeine is most people's drug of choice.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this weird thing genetically. I don't metabolize caffeine, so I don't
feel it.
I don't get any rush from it. And so for the longest time, I've had zero desire to drink anything caffeinated, which I guess I'm supposed to be pretty healthy, but it doesn't have any impact on me, so I didn't notice one way or another. I just think it was weird when people were drinking coffee because I'm like, this shit tastes terrible and it doesn't do anything for me. Like, what the fuck?
I don't get it.
wife-
I don't
get
understand.
it.
She spends so much money on Starbucks. I'm like,
Oh, you
how?
save so much money.
Yeah, Starbucks, Dutch Bros. I'm just like, just stop drinking coffee. It's gross.
Yeah.
She never finishes. She only drinks like the top half. But I'm complaining about my wife. Let's hear it.
That took a hard tangent. Anything else you would like
Yeah.
to share, Jay?
Oh, here it is.
Okay. The amount of no.
Moral of the story is we were going to start a coffee company, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, shit, if I'm going to sell coffee, I have to at least like try to become a coffee drinker. So I started experimenting, like cold brew, latte, Americano.
Started
different
experimenting
things.
with coffee.
Yeah, like
Different
trying,
types of
trying
coffee.
Hard
different
coffee?
ways. Yeah,
Hard
hard
coffee.
coffee, soft coffee, thick coffee. And now I don't even really enjoy the taste of it, but I kind of have. It's like nice to have something warm in the morning. I understand the ritual of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now sometimes I'll get to the office and I'll be like, oh, I want a coffee. And it's weird because it's not a stimulant thing
not
for
the
me. It's
caffeine
just like the
itself.
routine of it,
Yeah.
And I'll do, my favorite way to do it is Americano with a packet of stevia and just a little bit of half and half. It's great.
But you don't feel the caffeine at all.
No,
No energy boost, no spike,
no,
clarity, focus.
no. It's just
No,
like
none of the stimulant at all.
just like a nice warm thing. Also, I think it might have to do with the fact that I'm always fucking cold in the mornings because of the ice bath.
So
I
does
the,
he appreciate
I do
it even
the
more.
ice bath every morning,
Yeah.
and I drink something warm, and it helps
Yeah,
my body
balance it out.
temperature. Yeah, caffeine, drug of the world, right there.
It is.
That's actually my favorite breakfast is to take caffeine
Yeah.
with it, but I don't do coffee.
Yeah.
My favorite is scrambled eggs, like bacon or sausage, and then a Monster on ice. Yeah.
Wow. We just throw a cigar in there, and you got
Yeah.
fucking.
Just like that.
I could totally see you being a caffeine and cigar type of guy.
caffeine and cigar.
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah, I want to put a
Simultaneously.
dirty diaper in my mouth.
Yeah.
Just-
You don't like cigars? No cigars?
No,
No.
who wants a cigar?
Fucking
I don't
tasty.
even like smoking. I'm so paranoid about my lungs that even around a campfire, I'm like,
Don't inhale.
Don't inhale. That was all the questions.
All right. We got a segment. Guys, if you're tuning in, we have a segment called the Do Better Dude. So we got that here for you. And the reason why we started this segment is really to highlight guys doing good shit in the world. Because if you open up your phones, check out any kind of news, articles, social media, a lot of times there's a lot of shit in the world. And we got plenty of that out there. So we want to highlight guys that are doing cool shit, doing good things. And Jared's he's had 2 recently. So I don't know if this is a single guy. I don't know if
No,
he
this
got
one's just
2.
one guy.
Okay.
This is just one guy.
All right. Just
But it's
one
a
guy.
good-
But he's a good guy.
Yeah, it's a good do better dude.
All right.
He's a better he's a good do better dude. The do better dude segment. We're just gonna get tongue tied all over that. All right.
Let's hear it.
It's from this year, July 20th, 2023. Officer Aaron Blake is on his second day of the job as a police officer. Second
day.
day. Yep.
All right.
Okay. Fresh out of the academy.
Fresh out of the academy, he is with his training officer, and they get a call. The call they get is for an apartment that has caught fire. Now, I'm not sure. It would make sense in my mind to have the police there, but at the same time, like, you'd rather have the fire department there to stop a fire. So I don't know how firemen
They got
and
there first.
policemen. Yeah, they got there first.
Okay.
So they're waiting around, and his training officer goes around to the front of the building, and the mother is in the backside of the apartment, hanging out the window, screaming and yelling, and like smoke is just pouring out. So his partner runs around to the front. He's around the back. He's trying to calm them down and like say help's on the way, just like trying to keep everyone with a cool head. And she says, my babies are in here, or my kids are in here. He's like,
shit.
oh, how old are they? And like he gets information, and I think she said one was 5 months old or something like it. It's a baby. And so he stands up on the ledge of the window. Oh, she's like second floor, so it's one of those like townhome looking places. So there's a little lip on the window ledge on the bottom that he stands on, and she hands him the kid through the window. And so he takes the kid down. She has another kid up there too. And he's like, oh no. So he has this baby in his arm, and you watch him. Oh, and the video's there. I'll be sure to post the video so you can watch the footage. But in the video, he has the baby, and he sets the baby down in like the shade of this bush on the rocks on the outside. And then he goes up to get a second kid, and he grabs the second kid down, pulls him down. And it's the cutest, and like, it's really sad, but it's also super cute. The kid's like, oh, thank you so much. And there's like such this genuine like
Joy,
gratitude. But yeah. And you're like, oh, that's cute. And then you remember like, oh, that was actually a really scary situation for him. And so he has 2 kids down there now. And then that's when the video stops. I don't know if she also climbed out of the window or anything, but everyone lived. Everyone was fine. No fatalities. But his second day on the job, he's pulling kids out of a burning building from the second story window.
Dude, amazing.
Yeah. Officer Aaron Blake. Yep, Aaron Blake. Officer Aaron Blake. So good job, Aaron Blake. You're a do better dude. You are a good do better dude.
Sounds like a badass. I mean,
Yeah.
second day on the job to show up to that. I mean, obviously he's testing his. I mean, I don't know how you handle that situation.
Second day on the job.
Not being a firefighter. Like, okay, how do I process this? Like, he stayed.
Okay,
calm,
I
cool,
need to
collected,
de-escalate
like,
the
all right.
situation.
Yeah.
Don't pull the firearm because that's not going to help here. Can you imagine doing that like second day at Live Bearded or something? You got to pull a kid out of a burning building.
Well, I mean, I would hope that his training is the police academy had him a little more trained and ready for that. But yeah, I don't think they really teach that. So that was just him stepping up and being a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Well, that's going to do it for us for this episode of the Beardsmen.
Woo.
That was episode number 6, guys.
Number 6.
006.
All right. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. If you think what we should do differently, what you like, what you don't like, give us your feedback. Let us know. Again, we're here just to have a conversation with you guys, to answer your questions, talk about the experience of being a man in the world today through our perspective. But thank you for hanging out with us. We know there's a million things you could be doing. And if you watch to the end, we truly appreciate you. As always,
Live bearded.
Or identify as someone who lives bearded.
Or identify as someone.